Well, hello everyone. Here to show you right here, talk about for Bitcoins though. And I'm sure most of us here have heard of Bitcoins, but talk about right here, is another way of how you want to call it's like for like an investment though. And so it's like for I'm sure most of us here, if we've seen this before, that some of these sketches and some of this art like right here talk about for grants right here. But talk about whenever it comes to saving up for something, and whenever it comes to investing in a house or something like that, that does that really kind of get your mind focused on about the things that you're thinking about, such as it's like if you're wanting to buy this dream home, or maybe if it's a car or something like that, anything that you're gonna be saving your money up for, any source of awards and all that, and so it sure seems that way. I'm like, yeah, first of all, it seems like it requires a lot of math, a lot of attention with math and everything. But I have right here, you can see this right here, talk about for scholarships and internships. And, any student might even ask, is like, really, what's the difference between those? And like, well, usually that's whenever, if you're going to be registering for any scholarships and grants, that for what, if you're going to be a student, and anything that you're going to be qualified for. And let's just say that if there's any internships or scholarships that you're qualified for, that's money that's that's paid to you just for participating. And a lot of times it's like just for if you qualify, you just participate in any of the events that go on there at the school. And let's just say that if it's about the state opportunities, and I'm like, at the time, if we even want to know too, that could they be coming from the state too? I'm like, scholarships and grants. Some might even say that no, it really has nothing really to do with the state or anything like that. But still, I'm just like say is that whenever it comes to given this opportunity here to where that whenever you check it all out and want to know just a little bit too, to where at the time, well, we don't even know if you're qualified for that amount or whichever, but still. When we look at these math digits right here, and you could probably think too, is that, those math digits right here, that's right around, how expensive most home and most automobiles even cost. And so you're probably thinking too, is that, yeah, that, so it's like, the only way that maybe you would be qualified for a lot of the internships and a lot of the scholarships, of course. And they say that, yeah, well, if you participate in at least a year of enrollment, so let's just say if your enrollment status is up to at least 2 or 3 years, so a lot of times that a lot of the tax papers and tax documents or anything like that, they're going to be in detail about that, to where that you would have to participate, you would have to enroll for at least you would have to be signed up to participate for at least a year to be qualified for a lot of those awards. And so it's like, yeah, for any awards or certificates, educations, or anything like that. So whenever we think about that, though, and likely want to know too, that whenever it comes to participating in a college, or if it's participating in any other source of activity, and let's just say if we're maybe even talking about Bitcoins, that I'm sure we probably know too that for how Bitcoins work, is that that's money paid to you just for following them, like yeah, they getting the training sessions in, and that's money paid to you. You just buy for investments and all, like yeah, just by doing stuff, doing the normal practice sessions online, and as well as watching the training tutorials and everything, that you sign up for the courses and everything. But still, that almost anything that you do online, and half the time it sure seems that way, that anything that you're going to be doing online, is it worth more than what you could be collecting in the piggy bank than compared to your activity that you're doing either online or over the phone. And you're probably thinking that yeah, well, from your smartphone, then maybe you could be qualified for a higher amount if you did this practice electronically. So it sure seems that way. A lot of these digits right here seem like a lot, and so it sure seems that way, that really, if you've done the math right. But this was some examples I was given right here, and it sure seems that way to where that whenever you do, and I know like financial aid packages and everything all just work quite a bit different, but still that whenever it comes to graduates' rights and needs to succeed and everything. So let's just say that if you're going to be having your mind set for a goal to where that you want to go ahead and major in a certain degree program, and one thing that's maybe going to keep you going, like almost always, is going to be about what's available for an award, for rewards. And so if it's going to be, maybe for internships, scholarships, along with any grants or anything like that. So it's like awards, and a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, are you going to continue taking these required courses, or are you going to continue with your enrollment if you are qualified for those rewards? Because if you're not qualified for a lot of those rewards, or if you did not agree to those rewards, and they say, well, you may not be eligible for the half a quarter of that. And so it sure seems that way that when we think about this, and want to know too that whenever I first was getting used to how this worked, it was like, okay, whatever that's supposed to mean right there, yeah, whatever that means right there. But it sure seems that way that whenever it comes to understanding about whenever it comes to understanding about how internships work, and then scholarships work, and then how grants work and everything. And you're probably likely thinking too, and I'm like, you check that out, and half the time it's like, well, really, that you're going to ask the questions to where if you qualify, or if anything, well, there's a way you can find out just for register to sign up for the training tutorials and see how far you get. And but still, I just really think too that on the other hand, that whenever you do fill out the paperwork and everything, I'm like, it sure seems that way to where that nearly 30% of the rest of the application seems like it does not apply to you, and like, yeah, well, you know how that is. Most of those questions are going to be about upon graduation, and I usually see a lot of that. If you're coming towards graduation, if you're coming towards graduation, they'll tell you about what your rewards are and what your grants available, achievement grants and everything would be. So it's like, yeah, that when we think about that, and just think about that too, that okay, really, what's available so far as rewards go. And so I have right here, talk about right here, give it a year, but a lot of schools and businesses, or even anything that you participate in, really, that they'll say that you would in order to be able to get in order to be qualified for this reward, or if anything that had a good chance of getting that reward, is by participating in it. Like I say, signing up to watch the videos, signing up and registering just to be able to connect to the staff meeting virtually. A lot of stuff going virtually, and so it's like, that whenever you look at a lot of these digits right here, and you're probably thinking as to where whenever you go to those meetings and then listen up to a lot of what they talk about during these virtual meetings, it sure seems that way to where that maybe not everything that's talked about and discussed all applies to you. And so that's why it's like, that if you got the scholarship for worth $33,879, and the internship is $13,578, and then you got right here is the grant for $45,877, and then for $100,000 for business. So so it sure seems that way that whenever we add up all these digits, though, and you're probably likely thinking to where that, whenever you do, whenever it comes to, if you had to transfer to a different university if there was transfer credits or maybe if there was any stake credits that came around. But still, it sure seems that way to where that whenever it comes to understanding how it all works and everything, and you're probably thinking as to where, well, really, that you thought that maybe 90 days was pretty complicated, just knowing about what all the requirements were and everything, but yeah, it sure seems that way. Like you're learning about bitcoins, bitcoins and everything, and you think it too is that really that really what really keeps you motivated and what really keeps you going. But like anybody probably say too that really that if you can see something that maybe not everybody else can see and maybe try to realize, like say, yeah, well, a lot of those rewards, the way we think about it, though, is that one thing that really keeps you going, of course, is just knowing about is to where that if you want to set a challenge, and a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, if you're able to handle a lot of those difficult challenges, because we all know that not everything is going to be easy, but let's just say that that with some of these challenges, that there might be some easy parts about it, and there might be some real complicated parts about it. But the way I think about it too, that really, how are you really going to learn a few of the important stuff? If you, like say, if you don't get through these courses, like say you just never know what you're going to learn and what you're going to get whenever you do you'll get to the courses. But I just really think that yeah, well, if anything, you'll see a lot of those awards being available, especially like anybody say that, yeah, well, you've been working on it for the past 5 years, really, what how what sorts of goals or achievements are going to be accomplished after 5 years. But I could just say too that well, really, since you started it, that you've probably seen a lot of a lot of improvements and a lot of changes going on for the past 5 years too. Look back at your paperwork and all the documents and everything, and you might see if you get a better offer, or if you get paid more, if you get paid less, something like that. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.